Hello, I'm Dragos, and in this video we're going to go through the latest additions to Dokploy. I'm a big fan of Dokploy. I'm using it to self-host my own application, and with the version v0.29, Dokploy released some interesting things like they've added an MCP that you can use to go and chat with Dokploy with your AI agents. You can configure this anywhere. You can configure this in Open Code, VS Code, in Z, and so on. And yeah, let's go in order. So the first thing that they've added is the AI log. So basically, in case you have a problem with the deployment, you can configure AI inside Dokploy. We're gonna see how you can do that and chat with AI to see exactly the problems in the log. Then they've added the MCP and CLI support. So they've created an MCP that can be easily installed. And then you can configure this into the cursor, VS Code, Cloud Desktop, basically everywhere. You can use this with Open Code, for instance. Like this, I am using it, and I'm gonna show you. It has like a lot of tools, 508 tools, so it will load the context when you are gonna use it. Also, they've released an CLI for this, so basically you can go and chat with your Dogploy installation from anywhere with the help of this CLI. So basically, MCPs and CLIs offer similar things. What I'm recommending you to do is to start with the MCP first and see if everything is okay in there and if it's working. I think the best options for long term is to use the CLI also in the AI agents. Basically, you can create a skill and you can tell it in that skill how to use this CLI, and it will be a better options because the context of your AI agent, it will not be loaded with a lot of tools that maybe you're not gonna use every time. That's why I think the CLI option, it's a better solution in long term. But yeah, right now the skill, it's not there. You need to create it, and we're gonna use the MCP for this. Another thing that they added a libSQL database. So right now you can easily go and deploy a libSQL database directly in the database option. They've added a multi-root server support, so non-root multi-server support, it's actually called. And in the past, if you wanted to add another Dokploy server to the configuration, you needed to have root access to that server. And this created problems and vulnerabilities, and right now they've changed that, and you can link other Dokploy servers without the need to be root. Container management improvement, okay. Tags, application icons, they've added for this, and they have like additional enhancements that they added in here. And the first thing that we are gonna check is the MCP part, because I already configured it and we are going to check it and see how it's working. So basically, to configure the MCP, you just need to add it in your AI agent like this. So in the MCP, in the configurations, you go and add the Dokploy MCP. This is a command that you're gonna need to go and run with npx. And these are done. In here you have the environment variables. Basically in here you have the Dokploy URL is the installation. We're gonna see this live, and you're gonna need to create an API key in the Dokploy installation to link this. You also have the options to use Ban for this, which is faster. So it is using the technologies that are fast. Also Dino, I don't have Dino installed. And yeah, right now I have configured this into my AI agent server that I have. I've also created a video yesterday with how you can set this thing up, and you can do the same. And in here you see that in Open Code, in here, in the Open Code configuration, in the MCP section, I've added these things. So I've added a command in here with Dokploy MCP. I've added the enabled to true, and in the environment variables, I've added a Dokploy URL with Dokploy API key. in here. And to create the Dokploy API key, we're gonna do that. You're gonna need to go into the installation of your Dokploy like this, cloudbitdose.com, it is mine. And in here in the profile, you have the API CLI keys option. And in here you can generate a new API key. In here you can put the name, you can put the expiration, you can choose your organization, and you can even enable rate limiting and so on, and you can go and paste the key in there. I've already done this, and in here you can see that I've put the Dokploy URL, the cloudbitdose.com, and the API key. And right now if you're gonna run open code like this, let me make this thing bigger. In here I have configured the MCP, and if we're gonna go and run the MCPs to check them, you're gonna see that this is enabled and connected. And right now we can go and chat with our Dokploy installation. So we can ask him what projects I have in my Dokploy installation. Use MCP. I'll just tell him to be sure that it's using the MCP to see all the details. For this I've configured the Mimo V2 Pro from OpenCode Go to run it, and this should go and start using the MCP. Okay, and right now he will use the tools under that MCP to check the projects that I have in there. So you can check logs with this MCP, you can go and tell it to deploy application, and yeah, you can do all of these things. So right now you see in here that it will tell me that I have this self-hosted application like Ignitifuse, Bezier Client, Convex, 0byte open code. In my application I have 2 applications that are in here. So yeah, it's in everything and it provides the details. So check the logs on, let's say that I want to check the logs on Notifuse, which is a newsletter. And right now it should go and check the logs for that container in there. Okay, so it checks the database logs and the application logs. And basically, right now you can chat with your AI agent and he will have access through the MCP directly to your Docker containers in Dokploy, and you can tell it to, I don't know, install applications in case you have applications, to check logs, to help you troubleshoot and so on. And yeah, right now he is trying to go and check all of these details for us. Okay, and yeah, he's trying to see the details, and right now you see that it went and provided me the status for this, because it can only see the status with this. But again, you can tell it to go and enable an application, update a container in case you want to do that, and so on. Another feature that they have added is the possibility to check the logs with AI, and in here you'll have an AI. So in the settings you have the AI and you can add a provider in here. And what I'm gonna do, I will choose a provider for this. So you have different providers. You can add a custom one with the base URL if you want, but I'm gonna use OpenRouter for this. And this is the API URL. I will generate a key and then I will add a model. So in here I am in OpenRouter, and in here I have the keys under my profile, and I will generate a key that we're gonna delete after. I'll copy the key, I'll put the key in here, and in OpenRouter you can use free models. So let's go and add this free thing in there that we can go and okay, like this with free. Okay, create. You could have also tested the connection if you wanted to be sure that it's working like this. So connection is successful. Update. And right now if we're going to go to projects and if we're going to check a project, okay, let's check the self-hosted ones. And in here I have, for instance, Plausible, And in here, in the logs, you should have an AI like this and select provider, and in here it will go and analyze the logs for you. So this can help you troubleshoot something in case, for instance, it's not loading or it has errors. You can use AI directly in the UI to go and troubleshoot. I guess the next thing in here, it will be to add a chat that you can go and use it directly in here, so you can chat directly with Dokploy through the MCPs or CLI and help you do things with a chat box. I guess they're thinking to add this maybe in the future, because this will be a useful feature that will go and use the AI functionalities. I see this is taking some time to run. Of course, this is using the free models from OpenRouter, and in function of the load that you're seeing in OpenRouter, it can take some time to have this running. So right now the log analyze is finished, and in here you'll see the Postgres, it's running every 5 minutes, issues found, root cause, suggested fix, and so on. You can hit reanalyze. If you want to change the container, for instance, to go to the plausible UI, I think is this one. Again, you can go and ask your AI to do this. And yeah, I mean, this is a useful feature. And yeah, these are the new things that were added to Dokploy. I hope you enjoyed the video. In case you like what you have seen, please don't forget to like and subscribe. In case you want to see how you can deploy Dokploy, you can go and check my previous videos.